So Mark, once again, Mark Wahlberg is on the Strip bartending. I think this is like the fourth time since he's moved here, fifth time, something like that. It seems like every month there's a new picture of him bartending somewhere on the Strip. This guy is just Mr. Las Vegas these days. He's everywhere, all around the city.
I mean, you would think if it was like Wahlburgers and he wants to go in there to promote his restaurant, that would make sense, but it's kind of crazy him just going to random spots. And I don't know if this plays into him trying to get all the studio money and everything and just trying to be like beloved by Vegas and all of that. But I mean, it'd be cool if you're in a restaurant and all of a sudden Mark Wahlberg shows up. I know my wife would be super excited about it.
Yeah, so book him at your next grand opening, I guess. I don't know. It's interesting to see him all over the city, but the city loves him. I mean, the press, he's everywhere.
Yeah, I wonder how much his cameo is for that.
We can't start the show without talking about Hurricane Hilary, the storm that never really came to Las Vegas, but there was a lot of craziness around this. And we got an early storm like a couple days before the actual storm came, and it was pretty bad. We saw crazy lightning. Area 15 shared some photos over their tower of like crazy lightning storms. We got some flooding, and we were all prepared for this crazy weekend, but the storm sort of passed to the left of us, and we didn't get too much. You know, you had Link flooding, beautiful waterfalls over at Lake Powell, and Mount Charleston actually did get a lot of flooding too. So there is some stuff there. Hope everybody's okay. But for the most part, we just got cool temperatures and just a little bit of rain. Not bad at all.
I mean, the Link floods if like somebody spills a Slurpee, so that's not surprising at all. But I can't believe they haven't fixed that in some way now. But no, the waterfalls cascading into Lake Powell was really cool to see. Mount Charleston looks like it got the worst of it. Kind of crazy up there with the landslide type of thing going on. But, you know, Vegas didn't get hit too bad. But I should say Lake Mead, whoever owns a boat out there, I feel bad for you. I hope it's not too damaged. But it's just crazy. Those, you know, the boat docks didn't look very secure. They look kind of like makeshift boat docks. I don't know what the deal is with that, if they pull them out a lot or what, but it looked like plywood and stuff. Didn't look like the best setup out there for a storm.
They've had to move the marina a few times, so I don't know what that's about. But like I said, the pre-storm like caused all kinds of havoc here. And then the actual storm was a bunch of nothing, so or a lot of nothing for most people. So that's good, but yeah, it was crazy. I think we were all just holding our breath, and maybe the media sensationalized it just a little bit. And of course, Los Angeles did get hit pretty hard. Southern California got a lot of rain, but even I don't think they got quite the extent of the storm. It fell apart a lot, so there wasn't the wind and the quite everything that they had expected it to be. 78 degrees in the middle of August is fantastic. So the temperatures have just been spectacular. I mean, if anybody's been in Las Vegas, yeah, it's been cloudy. There's been some rain, but it's nice to just go outside and not be hot.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, what you see in like the northern states type of weather in the summer, and we've seen the southern states get hammered 100, 110. We talked about your air conditioning bill last month, so I'm glad that your pockets are feeling a little bit, you know, a little relief from that AC bill, so that's good to see. And I'm sure everybody's enjoying that break from the heat, so maybe we'll just roll right into fall and it won't get too hot again.
Yeah, turn off the air conditioner, turn off the water for a few days, save some money, because both those bills are ridiculous these days.
Did you put buckets out to catch water? I saw people doing that on Twitter, and he's like, I'm putting these buckets out to catch water to throw them on the plants and stuff, and the guy's like, well, doesn't the rain do that?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't quite see that craziness going on. We don't know how to handle any of this stuff. This is just all new to us. All right, so let's update everybody on the Venetian parking. We talked about how they're implementing paid parking and how you get free parking. Locals get 3 free hours, and Grazie Premier and above get free self-parking. And one of the commenters pointed out that to get that status, you only need to spend $334 on a hotel room, or about $1,000 in the casino. So they're not really, you know, we talked about validating parking, stuff like that. I guess in a way, this is sort of that. Not a high spend threshold, but they do want to make sure you spend some money. So if you're staying there, though, I imagine anybody staying there is going to spend $334 in the hotel. So you probably will get that status.
Yeah, and if I worked on the Strip or near the Strip and needed to park down there a lot or go to a lot of events and lived in the area, I think that'd be the place I'd probably do my gambling or dining until I hit that status. And, you know, that's probably the easiest obtainable status outside of, you know, getting credit cards or something like that for MGM and things of that nature. But for just pure spend, I can't think of anything that's a better deal or return to value. Kudos to the commenter for pointing that out. I think that's a a really good hack for if you need to park or you're coming from California or something like that. It's perfect.
So what's not perfect is Martin Yan. Mark, do you remember this is the guy that neither of us had heard of, and then we got roasted in the comments.
So much hate.
Because he was on PBS for like decades and decades and decades, and we didn't know who he was. He opened his new restaurant at Horseshoe, was it 4 or 5 months ago? It was not a long time ago, and it has already closed. So I told Mark, I said, I guess we didn't really need to learn who he was. He's not going to be opening up multiple restaurants would be my guess. It just didn't do well. Overpriced. The food was okay according to reviews. But Martin Yan out at Horseshoe.
Yeah, I mean, the only person I know from PBS is Bob Ross, the legendary, the GOAT of all time for PBS TV. Even if it's like not a great launch or the food's not great, to close this quickly is kind of a shock because we've seen how much they put into these restaurants just retrofitting them and design and all that stuff, multiple millions of dollars. So usually they hang on for a while, at least a year or two to see if they can make it work or tweak it. But so this is crazy. I wonder if there's something else going on there. And the Horseshoe just did this whole refurbish, bring in all these new restaurants, and to have one of your big celebrity chefs go out so quickly isn't a good sign for them.
Yeah, it's not a good sign, but I guess the writing must have been on the wall for them to pull the plug so quickly. How bad could this restaurant have been performing? And, we'll see what they do in that space. Clearly, they'll come up with a new concept. But, we never got to try it. So, I don't know. We're going to have to forget all about Martin Yan again.
They should have been smashing potatoes on the table, and then they would have been, a success.
Yeah, Martha Stewart should have consulted on this restaurant. So, speaking of restaurants, I got a chance to walk through Aria's food hall the other day, and this is the replacement for their buffet. We talked about it before, but I got some good video of it, so I thought I'd show people really quickly. The old buffet area was very orange, and that's the best way I can describe it. It was a buffet, right? But that whole area was orange. It was big, and they've changed it into this food hall, and I like it. I mean, I walked in there. First, you get this sort of vibe where you see people kind of hanging out at a bar and playing games and stuff as you sort of see the exterior of it, and then you can work your way into the interior with all the different food concepts. But I didn't get a chance to eat there. Definitely want to do that on a future trip, but it really is an attractive space, and I think they did a great job with the old buffet space, turning it into this, and it does feel more like a food hall, Mark, than a food court, given, they have this sort of games and has more of like a hangout kind of vibe. Same kind of kiosks that you have at Resorts World, so everything kind of works the same in that way. So I think they did a good job here, and I have to try some of that stuff out.
Yeah, hopefully the systems work better than they did at Resorts World the first couple months there with issues on ordering and everything, and food getting billed but not getting made and stuff like that. But it does look really nice. I think it's a good use of the space. It definitely feels more like a food hall than even like Resorts World because it's segregated. You feel like you're in a unique area versus just like kind of along the side of the casino. At least that's what it looks like from the video. So I think that's nice. I like the design of it. I know everybody loves their buffets, but this is going to be open longer. People don't have to pay $60-$70 to have dinner, can go pick what they want and not pay a huge fee and have to fill their face to feel like they got value. Depends on the prices though. Were they crazy? I'm assuming so.
Yeah, typical strip prices. So, high for that type of food, cheaper than you'll find at a sit-down restaurant. Similar to what you'd find at Cosmo's Food Court and elsewhere that we've seen. So you actually have 3 really good food courts or food halls, on that side of the street with Italy, and then next up at Aria you have Good Eats, and then of course the one at Cosmo. So there's a lot of choices, lots to eat in that area, and I think they did a good job.
I think it also adds like Vidara. We've talked about them being connected to these other properties and how that's kind of like a hidden gem, and people were complaining in the comments last week after you brought up the MGM issues, and do you get a email asking you how your stay was afterwards if you complain? And a lot of people were saying Aria's been an issue, and somebody said Vidara is the option if you want to be in that area, really. And I just wanted to point that out again. I think that's a great thing, and it ties into all these other Cosmos Food Hall, Aria's Food Hall, Bellagio, Easy Connection. So I think that really is kind of the gem of MGM right now for value.
Yeah, it's great with all the connections there. And speaking of the survey thing, a lot of people seem to have noticed the same thing that I did, that if you have a problem that they somehow delete the email. Some people said that they'll change the email in the system, so when the email goes out, it just goes out to a bad email address. There's some conspiracies, maybe that is actually true. Mark, we're having a bit of a golf revolution here, and not the regular golf, but alternative golf, right? Top Golf came in a few years ago on the old MGM Grand Adventures site, but just in the last year, we have Atomic Golf, which is now under construction at Strat, and then was it a month and a half ago, the Swingers Golf, which is there's like this adult mini golf at Mandalay Bay was announced. Yeah, not the Swingers Club, the Swingers Golf. And then PopStroke, which is, I know they partner with Tiger Woods and they're expanding rapidly around the country. They're opening up a facility in Town Square. They broke ground this week. And this is like, what is this, like a putting course where you putt? So it's like actual greens where you're putting. So it's less like mini golf, right?
Yeah, no windmills were used in the creation of this putt-putt course. But it's not really a putt-putt course. It's like a professional level putting greens. And I think they said 36 holes, so you can play 2 18s, and I'm sure they'll pack it full of people. And I think that's really unique, something you don't see. You know, everybody's been to putt-putt. But have you really gone to like a true putting thing that, you know, professional golfers would use in a facility? So something unique to pull them in. My only issue is it's in Vegas. It's outside. It's not inside like the other ones. So what are you going to see in the summer? You know, maybe at night people will go out, but during the day, is it going to be used? You know, is this investment worth it with that type of thing? I mean, in the winter and fall and stuff, it'll be perfect. But we just talked about 110 degrees. I don't see anybody going out there to putt when it's scalding hot out.
Yeah, that will be an issue there. And it's not right on the Strip. I mean, it is on Las Vegas Boulevard, but this is a few miles south of what you would consider to be the main part of the Strip. But this is insane. So every type of golf you could possibly have. We also have like the KISS mini golf, those like blacklight indoor golf. So we have golf covered from every angle here in Las Vegas, from traditional golf down to putting greens and now adult themed, even miniature golf and everything else.
Even empty golf courses, you know, surrounded by rich people complaining about it.
Yeah, costing the city hundreds of millions of dollars. And speaking of that, Mark, F1, let's talk F1 for a second. They released a new pack talking about the race, and I think we learned a few new details here. Basically, it's funny because in several different spots, it's like, will I be able to see the race from the sidewalk? No, we're going to block views. There's going to be scrims and fences, and you will not be able to see this. Will I be able to see the race from pedestrian bridges? No, we're going to enclose the pedestrian bridges, quote unquote, for your safety and the safety of the drivers. Basically, you're not going to see it from anywhere. We kind of knew that. And they talk about road closures. They're putting in 2 road bridges, which is interesting. One over Flamingo and then one over Harmon. And they're going to start installing those in October. So like just as they finish the paving through September, then they're going to put the road bridges in. It's one thing after the other. Nothing is going to be right until this is all done. And they're building grandstands already. So the fun has already begun.
Now, the question, what I'm really interested to hear is, you know, when this is all said and done, will the locals, people in Vegas, will they think it was worth it? All the pain, all the suffering, all the construction and stuff, and it's just going to get worse. And then that weekend will probably be hell, you know. You will want to stay away from the Strip if you're not going to the race. So I'm just curious, like, you know, how much does it bring into the city, money-wise and people-wise? And then was it worth all the sacrifices to get there? I don't know. If you're not going to the race, I couldn't even imagine wanting to be down there. If you're going to the race, I think it'll be an awesome experience, but I wouldn't want to be in Vegas that weekend just to be there. And I wonder how many people are going to book it not thinking about it or realizing it and showing up and being like, oh, crap.
Well, I think hotel rates will help them a little bit
That's
to
true.
stay out of
That's
trouble
true.
with that. Yeah, I mean, what's interesting with these road bridges is that they're not going to be open to the public. So you're going to have to prove that you have some sort of a reservation or some reason to be in the zone where you're crossing over the bridge. So that they're not doing that for traffic purposes. Everything will still be closed. It's going to be ugly. One other thing, Ellis Island announced their own grandstands. And this is strange to me because I hadn't previously heard them announce anything. And it seems like they're rolling out these grandstands. Like maybe they gave the big players the first chance to sell their tickets. And, you know, then a few weeks later, eventually you got the Mirage grandstands. And now we're at Ellis Island. So we just see more and more of these. $1,500 for a 3-day ticket, including food and drink. $5,000 for a 3-night package in their hotel or motel or whatever you have at the Ellis Island. I think it includes a few other things. But yeah, it's crazy.
It should be, instead of $1,500 for 3 nights, if you get the hotel, it should be $1,000 because it's a Super 8.
Now the front yard, which is really nice, we love the front yard, is going to have all kinds of stuff going on, and they're going to have, you know, food and drink and everything. So Ellis Island, we do love it. $1,500, a little cheaper, I think, than some of the other places. And I was actually looking at the race course. Ellis Island would be a really good spot. That straightaway there would be a neat spot to watch the race compared to some of the other ones. So good on them. But are they selling all these tickets? That's the question.
I love Ellis Island. I go there every time. I go to Vegas. Front room's amazing. I think the grandstand at $1,500 is about what you're going to get anywhere, so I don't have a problem with that. The $5,000 with room included just blows my mind because of the hotel they have attached. I don't see a lot of those packages being sold.
I checked about a day after they announced, and there was maybe a few dozen tickets sold. It doesn't seem like they're flying off the shelves, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of giveaways around town. A lot of locals are waiting for their friend to give them free tickets to this. You know, people with Jews, people in the know, including myself, everybody out there. So, you know, you got to take, no, but seriously, I think they will fill the grandstands, even if they don't sell them, right? People will find a way in, and they'll do all that in the best Vegas way possible. And finally, I wanted to finish with this. I stumbled across this video from Vegas Matt. He's a big YouTube channel, has a lot of different, he streams on a lot of different platforms, but he did a video with the 5-spin method, which is basically you went into a high roller room, but you could do this anywhere, and he played every machine in the high roller room, doing 5 spins per machine. And apparently this is a method that a lot of slot players are using. So basically the idea, I'm going to give the machine 5 spins, see if I get a bonus, or whatever I get in those 5 spins, move on to the next one. Other people do variations with 10 spins, or they do it until they get 1 bonus. My question to everybody out there is, does this work for you? Like, do you think you actually get a better return by doing this? Or is it just like a fun game to play? And obviously the odds are still there, so hard over time to actually win more by doing this.
Yeah, I mean, the real way to do it is to do 5 at once and then hop as you push the button.
Exactly. Vegas Matt, we want to see Vegas Matt running back and forth with his $50 bets on each machine. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be pretty epic. Yeah, I don't think any of these things necessarily work. It's just a question of, do you have more fun doing it? If you do, then hey, by all means, go for it. It gives you a little bit of, you know, instead of sitting at one machine, you get to test out a couple different machines. And a lot of people play them because they like the bonuses or something. So this gives you a taste of maybe what that machine offers you, and you might not have played it otherwise. So I think that's kind of cool, like maybe as like an exploration type of thing where you're trying to find a machine that you think is good to use. But outside of a few people I know that like really study a machine and can tell somewhat when it's going to close to hit type of thing, depending on the way the graphic looks and stuff like that, I've never heard of a foolproof plan out there, at least not one that people are putting up on YouTube.
Yeah, and there isn't one, right? Because these are slot machines and you can't really tell.
Yeah.
Obviously, some machines have progressives that have to hit by a certain amount, so you can predict on that. But even those machines that have those bonuses that you work towards them, and you know they'll show fire and smoke and all of that as you get more of them, they're still random, so they're actually not triggered based on that. It just shows the amount of time you've done through it. So there's a lot of craziness with slots these days. You know, there's people that claim, there was always this guy on YouTube years ago claimed that he could tell you all these tricks and tips to save on slots and everything else, but I don't think it works. I think Vegas Matt lost a little bit on this go, although he has several videos. He's done that in several high limit rooms, so you know, he gets around playing the game, sometimes 5 spins, sometimes 10.
Yeah, I think anybody that does our tips and tricks type of thing and sells a package, if it was really that good, they wouldn't tell anybody, and they would just be making tons of money off it themselves. So anybody that's selling you something like that definitely is a scam. Do not give them your money. You know, nothing like that has worked. You know, there are ways in the casino to tip the advantage to you, certain games, mostly table games, stuff like that, but that takes years of practice and a lot of money that you're going to lose along the way learning the ropes. So I definitely don't think there's a get-rich-quick type of scheme out there.
Yeah, and slot channels, I don't think that's a get-rich-quick kind of scheme. So those people on those slot channels seem to be losing more than they take in, but they're having fun. Shout out to Vegas Matt. I love your videos, and you're making it all look good. And those big bets are exciting to watch. So let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about, the 5-spin method slot videos. Hurricane Hilary, was it all overblown by the media, by us? My Asia closing, all the golf, everything happening around town. Hit us up in the comments, and we'll discuss everything there. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in just a couple days with another video. Thanks for everybody who subscribes. You hit the thumbs up on every video. We really appreciate it. We still have tons of you guys who are not subscribed, so hit that subscribe button if you can. It helps us out. Thanks for watching.
Have a good week, everybody. Then, you know, I know everybody loves their... Why can't I think of the word? Buffet.